r/Attorneytom. What's up, YouTube? Attorneytom here. Today we're going to be reacting again to my Reddit thread, r/Attorneytom. There's been tons of traction on it since the last video I made, so here we go. But before we begin, a couple of things. First, I just got back from Starbase, Texas. I am uploading the footage that I took. I'm going to be making a video very shortly on that soon. Second, thank you so much. We just passed 260,000 subscribers. If you want to join this community, I ask that you consider subscribing. Alright, let's jump right into it. Pardon trap. Sorry if this has already been asked, but I know that when you get a pardon, you have to admit to the crime. Can they pretend to offer you a pardon, then reveal it was fake, then use it as a admission of guilt? Sorry if that's a stupid question. No one judge me, except for our Papa Tom. Okay, so first of all, I'm not an expert on pardons, but I don't think you have to admit to the crime to get a pardon. No, I don't think so. Usually pardons are written very vaguely, like, you know, Attorney Tom is pardoned from shamelessly asking for your YouTube subscription for every video in the future. And that's actually a terrible example. I was just trying to plug my YouTube channel. Okay, moving on. Let's just say hypothetically they made you confess to the crime in order to get your pardon. I would think that would be an improper admission of guilt, right? Because, I don't know, I certainly think there's an argument to be made that if you had to admit to guilt in order to get a pardon, that could be construed as some form of trap, inadmissible, couldn't be used against you because, because even if you didn't do it, okay, right? Just think about that. Let's just say I'm accused of a crime, such as asking people to subscribe to my YouTube channel shamelessly in every single video, and it's kind of annoying a lot of people. And they come up to me and they say, hey Tom, we'll give you a pardon if you just admit to it. Even if I'm not guilty, I'm gonna admit to it because I'm just gonna get a pardon and my life is gonna be way easier. I don't want to roll the dice at trial. What if I get a bad jury? What if the prosecution hides evidence? Whatever. I'm just going to admit to it, get a pardon, but then suddenly, boom, oh, it was a trick, reverse Uno card, you just admitted to it, now you're guilty. It's kind of a bad deal. Hi, big brain legal analysis over here. I want to be a lawyer, but I want to know if studying law in a different country makes me eligible for becoming a lawyer in a different country, or will I have to go through the law school through that country again, and what kind of lawyer is most preferable? Okay, that's a big loaded question. So you're gonna have to be licensed in the country that you're gonna practice law in. In the United States, you have to be licensed in the state that you're gonna practice law in. And the type of lawyer that's preferable probably just depends on what you like and what country you're in. Is it legal to teach a monkey how to use a gun and let it loose in a Walmart? No. Additionally, if you did teach a monkey how to use a gun and let it loose in a Walmart, and it hurt people, you would be liable, probably for murder. Because letting a monkey who knows how to use a gun loose in a Walmart, a foreseeable consequence of that is somebody getting shot. If you were on top of a tall building and viewing a balcony and you slip on water where there's a wet forest line, would have been processed to fall off the building and land on another person using him as a cushion but killing him. Are you at fault for the murder, or are the landlords at fault? First of all, that wouldn't necessarily be a murder because you literally fell off and just killed somebody. There was no malice, premeditation, or deliberation. That was just a freak accident. It might be a manslaughter, depending on the incidents, but probably not given what I'm talking about. And what are your chances of winning a case where someone crashes their car into yours and they are found completely at fault, but their insurance company does not pay for all the damages? Can you sue the owner of the car that crashed into you for the rest of the money, and what are your chances of winning? Man, kind of what I do for a living, it depends. Prank. If I try to prank someone by jumping out with a weapon and the person being pranked injured them, would the person who is being pranked be at fault? Probably not. Like I said, self-defense, especially deadly use of self-defense, is justified when there's an objective and subjective fear of imminent grievous bodily harm. Additionally, there are different tiers to self-defense, right? So just because somebody might not pose a lethal threat doesn't mean that they don't pose a threat to you. So you could be justified in using lower forms of self-defense. So if somebody pranked you by jumping out with a weapon and pointing at you, even if at the war, act. Somebody jumps out to you, points a weapon at you, you carry a weapon on, you pull it out instinctively, boom, you fire before even thinking, right? Is that justified self-defense? And it might be. So it's just going to depend on the situation. If somebody gets arrested for smoking weed on your porch, can the police search the entire residence? This is a great question. And there's actually a whole lot to it. It probably deserves its own video. And the answer is it depends. Every situation is going to be different. Generally, when you get arrested, the police are going to conduct a SITLA search incident to a lawful arrest. During a SITLA, they can pat you down, they can search for anything in your arm span, but everything's going to depend on the exact situation, what they can see, what they can smell, what they've heard, who's there. It's just a whole quagmire, and everything's going to be different. Would this actually work? Me, 20-year-old student doing little computer repairs for money, gets called from friend working at warehouse. There's a huge pile of laptops that has to be thrown away. I asked my boss if I could take them, and he said yes. They seem pretty recent and come up with them. Maybe you can earn quite a bit of money off it since picture lots of ThinkPads, T44, why not? Go to friend, inspect laptops. Most of them have problems, but some work fine. Load them in car, head back home. Asshole jumps a red light and T-bones the back of my car. Police comes dash cam footage and says that asshole was at fault, submits insurance compensation, put all 50 laptops into compensation. I received $30,000 in compensation for mostly broken laptops. So in theory, for property damage, not personal injuries, you're supposed to be made whole. You're supposed to be made compensated for what was broken. And it's hard to quantify things like that, right? We don't know the true value of those laptops. Were they really worth $30,000? Maybe. But if they were broken, what was the state of them being broken? I don't know. Okay, insurance fraud. If you have a close family member with life insurance and you kill them to claim their death benefit, is that insurance fraud or just murder? Both! Both. That is both. Naturally, some states have something called a Slayer statute, which means that if you're in line to inherit from somebody who you murder, you cannot inherit from them. So let's just say, person with death benefit, $1 million death benefit. I kill them to claim death benefit. Well, under the Slayer statute, I do not get that $1 million because I killed the person who I was supposed to inherit from. Big brained. If you leave the Tesla autopilot on and it fails to stop before running a pedestrian over, would it be liable for injuries or a possible death? Great question. A+ question. This is a question that will be at the cutting edge of the legal world probably for the next decade. What Tesla would argue is we don't have full autopilot yet. It's the driver's responsibility to be paying attention, blah, blah, blah. The driver's going to blame the Tesla autopilot. And even if the driver was supposed to be paying attention, it's foreseeable that if you have an entire autopilot feature that people are going to be lackadaisical behind the wheel. And remember, the burden of proof for civil stuff is preponderance of the evidence. It's not beyond a reasonable doubt. And really, this is a question of foreseeability. Just because the driver was supposed to be looking, is it foreseeable that somebody behind the wheel of a self-driving car not stop or has trust that the autopilot is going to stop because that's what the autopilot is for? And what is the consequence if they hurt somebody? I don't know the answer to this. This is going to be litigated heavily. I have colleagues who have litigated an instance where a self-driving car ran over and killed somebody. The short answer is I don't know. This is going to be very, very interesting. I'll probably make follow-up videos about this because I imagine, just from the course of the cases that I work on, I will probably have a case, as scary as this sounds, like this at some point in the future. When the imposter is sus. Oh my god. Can I zoom in? Oh my god. That's why I wear an eye patch, okay? Look at this. This is a lazy eye. So I wear an eye patch over my good eye to work out and train my lazy eye. That's so bad. It's actually hilarious. And actually, it kind of gets worse as the day goes on. The first 12 hours of the day is fine. You know, I wake up. It's kind of like a muscle, right? When you work out, your first set isn't that bad. But then as the day progresses, I get more tired. My eye strength becomes weaker. It's still funny, though. I love it. As you know, I'm just a big shit poster. I don't really care about memes. I love memes. I embrace the memes. So this might be a recurring segment. I'm sorry if I didn't answer your question. I'm going to do another video soon. I'm already planning on scheduling to film it in the next day or so. So thank y'all so much. Please make sure you hit that like button if you want to be a part of this community. We're growing like crazy. Leave any questions, comments, concerns down below. Be more than happy to answer them. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.